The night at St. Mary's Hospital was shrouded in a tense quietude as a woman in labor was rushed in. Dr. James and Nurse Anna, along with the rest of the team, were poised for action, understanding the gravity of the situation. The woman's laboring cries echoed through the corridors, reaching Mrs. Ellen, the hospital's janitor, who paused in her work. The usually calm night air of the hospital was now thick with a sense of urgent expectancy. In the sterile confines of the delivery room, amid the orchestrated chaos, Lily was born. Her first cry pierced the air, a sweet symphony of new beginnings. Dr. James, who held Lily first, was once again moved by the profound miracle of life. But joy turned to despair rapidly. Lily's mother, weakened by complications, faded quickly despite the team's desperate efforts. Her passing left a silence that was heavy with loss, casting a shadow over the newborn's future. In the aftermath of the tragedy, Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen found themselves gravitating towards Lily's cradle. They stood together, looking down at the innocent child, now motherless. A silent pact was formed amongst them, a commitment to be the guardians Lily now needed. The night air at St. Mary's Hospital was punctuated by a sense of urgency as an ambulance siren wailed its arrival. Inside, a 35-year-old woman, Claire, was in the throes of labor, her face etched with a mixture of pain and anticipation. The maternity ward, usually a place of controlled calm, was buzzing with heightened activity. Dr. James, the attending physician, was a seasoned doctor, his face a mask of concentration as he prepared for the delivery. Nurse Anna, known for her gentle touch and comforting presence, stood by Claire's side, offering words of encouragement. Mrs. Ellen, the elderly janitor, paused in her nightly cleaning routine, her thoughts drawn to the unfolding drama in the delivery room. As Claire labored, her thoughts drifted to her late husband, Michael. Their love story, brief but profound, had been a whirlwind of emotion and happiness. Losing him to an accident had been a devastating blow, and now bringing their child into the world without him by her side felt both joyous and heartbreakingly incomplete. The hours ticked by, each contraction a wave that Claire rode with a mixture of strength and vulnerability. Dr. James and Nurse Anna worked in unison, their experience and empathy guiding them through the challenging delivery. Finally, with a concerted effort, Claire brought a new life into the world. The baby's first cry echoed through the room, a sound that signified both an end and a beginning. They named her Lily, a name chosen by Claire and Michael during happier times. However, the joy was short-lived. In the moments following the birth, Claire's condition began to deteriorate rapidly. Despite the immediate response from Dr. James and his team, the complications proved insurmountable. Claire's final moments were spent gazing lovingly at Lily, her eyes conveying a lifetime of love and a silent plea to take care of their precious daughter. In the hallway, Mrs. Ellen stood silently, a witness to the flurry of activity as the team fought to save Claire. The atmosphere was heavy with a mix of hope and impending sorrow. When Dr. James finally stepped out, his face somber, his eyes meeting those of Nurse Anna and Mrs. Ellen, they understood. Claire was gone. The hospital, a place where life and death often danced so closely, was tonight the stage for a poignant story of love, loss, and new life. In the wake of Claire's passing, the hospital's usually bustling corridors were enveloped in a somber stillness. The joy of childbirth was overshadowed by a profound sense of loss, felt not only by those who knew Claire, but also by those who simply passed by the delivery room. Dr. James, a seasoned physician who had witnessed many such tragedies, found himself unusually affected by Claire's death. He leaned against the cool wall outside the delivery room, his thoughts heavy with the weight of what had just occurred. In his years at the hospital, he had learned to balance detachment with empathy, but tonight, the scales tipped toward sorrow. Nurse Anna, with tears brimming in her eyes, quietly exited the room. Her role often required her to be a pillar of strength. But in moments like these, she felt the acute pain of her patients' losses. As she walked down the hallway, her footsteps echoed, each step a reminder of the fragility of life. Mrs. Ellen, the janitor, stood at the end of the corridor, her mop and bucket now forgotten. She had been working at the hospital long enough to understand the cycles of life and death, but the sadness of such moments never eased. In the solitude of the night, she whispered a prayer for Claire and the baby girl she left behind. Meanwhile, in the nursery, Lily lay swaddled in her crib, oblivious to the loss she had just endured. Her tiny chest rose and fell rhythmically, a stark contrast to the stillness that had befallen the delivery room. The nurses there exchanged somber glances, their usual chatter replaced by a respectful silence. The news of Claire's passing rippled through the hospital staff, each person pausing to reflect on the bittersweet nature of their work. In the world of medicine, the joy of bringing new life into the world was often intertwined with the sorrow of loss. Tonight, that truth was felt more deeply than ever. As the night wore on, the hospital slowly returned to its routine. But the echoes of what had transpired in the delivery room lingered in the hearts of those who had witnessed it. For Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen, the night had left an indelible mark, a shared experience that silently bound them to each other, and to the newborn girl who would soon need them more than anyone knew. In the nursery, under the soft glow of the overhead lights, Lily lay in her crib, her small face serene and oblivious to the world around her. The nurses moved quietly, their voices a gentle whisper as they tended to the other newborns. Lily, however, demanded special attention, not just for her needs, but for the circumstances of her birth. Dr. James, having composed himself, entered the nursery. His gaze fell upon Lily, a beautiful symbol of life, continuing against the backdrop of loss. He watched her with a sense of responsibility that went beyond his professional duty. In his mind, he wrestled with the reality of her situation, an orphan from her first breath. Nurse Anna joined him, her eyes also drawn to Lily. In the little girl's peaceful face, she saw a glimmer of hope amidst the tragedy. Nurse Anna had always formed connections with her patients, but Lily's case stirred something deeper within her. She felt a maternal instinct awakening, a desire to protect and nurture this innocent life left in their care. Mrs. Ellen peered through the nursery window, her heart aching for the child. She had seen many babies come into the world, but Lily's story tugged at her heartstrings. As a mother and grandmother herself, Mrs. Ellen felt a profound empathy for the baby, who was starting her life with a loss too great for her to understand. As the night progressed, discussions began among the hospital staff about Lily's future. It was clear that she would need more than the usual care provided by the hospital. Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen found themselves gravitating towards each other, united by a common concern for Lily. In an impromptu meeting in the break room, they spoke softly but earnestly about what could be done for Lily. Dr. James proposed the idea of the hospital staff collectively taking responsibility for her upbringing, at least until a more permanent solution could be found. Nurse Anna and Mrs. Ellen immediately agreed, each driven by their own reasons and connected by a shared sense of duty. Thus, amidst the sterile walls and the clinical routines, a bond was formed, a bond not of blood, but of shared humanity. Lily, in her innocence, had brought together three disparate individuals, igniting a sense of purpose that transcended their professional roles. The birth of hope on this fateful night was not just about Lily's entry into the world. It was about the awakening of a new kind of family, forged in the face of loss and united by an unspoken promise to care for one of their own. The morning light filtered softly through the windows of St. Mary's Hospital, casting a gentle glow on the walls of the maternity ward. Yet, within these walls, the dawn brought with it a solemn task. The staff had to bid farewell to Claire, a woman whose life had ended just as her daughter's began. In a small, private room, Claire lay still and peaceful, as if in deep sleep. Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen gathered around her, each lost in their own thoughts, each feeling the weight of the moment. They were joined by a few other staff members who had cared for Claire during her brief stay. Dr. James, usually composed and professional, found his voice tinged with emotion as he spoke a few words in remembrance. He talked not just about Claire's final moments, but about the vibrancy and strength she had shown during her brief interactions with them. He acknowledged the profound loss of a life full of potential, now cut tragically short. Nurse Anna, standing beside him, clutched a small bunch of flowers, lilies, a tribute to the daughter Claire left behind. She placed them gently in Claire's hands, a symbolic gesture of connecting mother and child one last time. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered a goodbye, promising to look after Lily in her mother's absence. Mrs. Ellen, though more accustomed to the cycles of life and death, felt a deep sorrow as she looked upon Claire. She reached out, touching Claire's hand gently, her mind filled with thoughts of the newborn, who would never know her mother's warmth. In her heart, Mrs. Ellen made a silent vow to be a guiding presence in Lily's life. As they each took a moment to say their goodbyes, the room was filled with a sense of shared grief and a collective commitment to honor Claire's memory by caring for her daughter. There were no grand speeches, just quiet, heartfelt promises and a few tears shed in the privacy of that solemn space. The farewell to Claire was not just a goodbye to an individual. It was an acknowledgement of the fragility of life and the profound impact of each person's existence. For Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen, it was a moment that solidified their resolve to be there for Lily, to provide her with the love and care she would need in the years to come. In the quiet nursery, away from the somber atmosphere of Claire's farewell, Lily slept peacefully in her crib, unaware of the loss she had just endured. Her tiny face was the picture of innocence. As the hospital slowly awoke to the routines of the day, a small group gathered around Lily's cradle. Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen, each contemplating the journey that lay ahead. Dr. James, with years of medical experience behind him, understood the practical challenges they would face in raising Lily within the hospital. Yet, as he watched her sleep, he felt a paternal instinct stir within him. He knew that their decision to care for Lily was unconventional, but he also knew it was the right thing to do. He silently pledged to provide her with the stability and care she would need. Nurse Anna, still reeling from the emotional events of the night, looked at Lily with a mixture of love and sorrow. She thought of Claire, of the moments they had shared, and of the dreams she had for her daughter. Nurse Anna knew that she would play a crucial role in Lily's life. She would be the closest thing to a mother Lily would have in the hospital. Her heart swelled with a protective love, a commitment to nurture and guide this innocent life thrust into their care. Mrs. Ellen, standing beside them, watched Lily with a soft, grandmotherly affection. Her life experiences had taught her the resilience of the human spirit, and she saw in Lily a chance to pass on her wisdom. She imagined teaching Lily about life, sharing stories, and offering the kind of comfort only a grandmotherly figure could provide. As they stood there, a silent agreement was formed among them. They would each bring their strengths to the task of raising Lily, ensuring that she would grow up surrounded by love and care. They knew the road ahead would be filled with challenges, but they were united in their commitment to this unexpected but precious responsibility. The nursery, usually a transient place for newborns before they went home, was now the beginning of a lifelong journey for Lily. It would be her home, the place where she would take her first steps, speak her first words, and learn about the world from the unique perspectives of those who had come together to care for her. In that moment, gathered around the cradle, they were no longer just hospital staff. They were a makeshift family, bound together by a shared love for a child who had brought them together in the most unexpected way. As Lily grew in the nursery, she became a beloved fixture of St. Mary's Hospital. The staff, particularly Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen, took turns caring for her, each bringing their own unique touch to her upbringing. During quiet moments, they often found themselves beside Lily's crib, sharing stories about her mother, Claire, painting a picture of the woman she would never meet. Nurse Anna, having known Claire personally, often spoke of how she had met her husband, Michael. She described their love as something out of a fairy tale, a chance meeting in a coffee shop that blossomed into a beautiful, albeit short-lived romance. Anna's words brought to life the love and happiness that had once surrounded Lily's parents. Mrs. Ellen, who had seen many families come and go, shared tales of Claire and Michael's resilience in the face of challenges. She spoke of how they supported each other when Michael was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and how Claire's strength was unwavering, even in her grief after his passing. Dr. James often reflected on the night of Lily's birth, the joy overshadowed by the immediate loss. He talked about the strength and courage Claire showed, her final moments filled with love and concern for the daughter she would leave behind. These stories were told with a gentle honesty, preparing Lily for the truth about her origins. Each story, each shared memory, was a thread connecting Lily to her parents. The staff, in their own way, kept Claire and Michael's memory alive, ensuring that Lily would grow up knowing the depth of the love that had brought her into this world. They spoke of her parents' hopes and dreams for her, instilling a sense of belonging and identity in Lily. In the quiet hours of the evening, when the hospital settled into a gentle rhythm, Nurse Anna often found herself sitting beside Lily's crib. The little girl, now a few months old, gazed up with curious eyes as Anna began to weave the tale of her parents. A story Lily was too young to understand, but one that Anna felt compelled to share. "Your mother, Claire, was a remarkable woman," Anna began, her voice soft and tinged with affection. She had a smile that could light up a room and a heart full of dreams. "And your father, Michael, he was the kind of man who made those dreams feel possible." Lily cooed, her tiny hands reaching out as if trying to grasp the threads of the story. Anna smiled, gently holding one of Lily's hands. They met quite by chance, you know. It was a rainy day, and both had taken shelter in a small coffee shop. Your mother was reading a book, and your father, well, he was quite taken by her. As Anna spoke, the story of Claire and Michael came to life in the nursery. She described their first conversation, how they discovered shared interests, and how one coffee date turned into many. With each word, Anna painted a picture of a love that was deep and true, a love that had eventually led to Lily's birth. "Your father had this laugh, a laugh that could make anyone smile," Anna continued. "And your mother, she had a way of seeing the good in everything. They were a perfect match, those two." In the corner of the nursery, Mrs. Ellen paused in her work, listening to Anna's story. She remembered seeing Claire and Michael in the hospital, their love evident in their every interaction. Dr. James, passing by the nursery, also stopped to listen, his expression reflective. For Lily, these stories were her first connection to her parents, a legacy of love passed down through words and memories. As Nurse Anna spoke, Lily's eyes slowly drifted closed, her dreams perhaps filled with the echoes of the love story that was hers from the very beginning. The next evening, as Lily lay in her crib, her eyes following the mobile above her, Nurse Anna continued the story of Claire and Michael. Their love story, Lily, was one of those rare, simple joys, Anna said, her voice warm with nostalgia. "Your parents shared a love for the simple things. Long walks in the park, evenings spent watching the stars, conversations that stretched into the night. They found happiness in each other's company, no matter the setting," Anna recounted, her eyes glistening as she remembered. Mrs. Ellen, who had overheard Anna the previous night, joined in. "I saw them once, sitting in the hospital's garden. They seemed so at ease, so content, just being together. It was as if the world around them faded into the background." Anna smiled at Mrs. Ellen's addition. Yes, they had a way of making their own little world wherever they went. Michael was always making Claire laugh, and she had a look of pure adoration for him. Their love was a beautiful, quiet presence. As Lily listened, her eyelids began to flutter sleepily. Anna's voice, soft and rhythmic, was like a lullaby, weaving images of her parents' love into her dreams. Dr. James, who had stopped by to check on Lily, lingered in the doorway. He remembered the day Claire had told them about her pregnancy. The joy and excitement in her eyes were unforgettable. They were over the moon about becoming parents, he added softly, his voice tinged with the sadness of knowing how quickly joy had turned to sorrow. The stories of Claire and Michael's simple yet profound love painted a picture of a life that Lily was a part of, even if she could not remember it. These tales, told by those who cared for her, were her connection to a past filled with love and laughter, a past that would shape her understanding of who she was and where she came from. As Lily drifted into sleep, surrounded by the gentle voices of her caretakers, she was enveloped in the warmth of her parents' love story, a timeless tale that Nurse Anna, Mrs. Ellen, and Dr. James promised to keep alive in her heart. A few nights later, as Lily lay nestled in her crib, Mrs. Ellen took her turn to add layers to the tapestry of her parents' story. The nursery, bathed in the soft light of the evening, provided a serene backdrop for the tales of the past. Your parents' love, Lily. It wasn't just about the good times. They faced challenges too, but their bond only grew stronger. Mrs. Ellen began, her voice carrying the wisdom of her years. When your father, Michael, fell ill, it was a test of their love, one they faced together with courage. Dr. James, who had joined the small gathering, nodded in agreement. I remember when Michael was undergoing treatment. Despite the uncertainty and fear, Claire was always by his side. They supported each other in ways that went beyond words. He recalled, his expression reflective of the deep respect he held for their resilience. Nurse Anna, sitting beside Lily's crib, held the baby's hand gently. Claire never lost hope, not even in the darkest times. She believed in Michael, in their love, and in the future they dreamed of having together. A future that included you, Lily. As they spoke, the spirit of Claire and Michael seemed to fill the room, their love story becoming a beacon of hope and strength. Their journey was not just a tale of romance, but a testament to the power of enduring love in the face of life's trials. Even when Michael passed, Claire's love for him didn't wane, Mrs. Ellen continued. She carried that love, along with her love for you, Lily, in her heart. It gave her strength, right up until the end. Lily, listening to the soothing voices of her caretakers, was wrapped in the legacy of her parents' unbreakable bond. The stories they shared were more than just words. They were the threads that connected Lily to her parents, weaving a fabric of love that transcended time and circumstance. The night in the nursery was a quiet homage to Claire and Michael's enduring bond, a bond unbroken by adversity, a love that continued to live on through Lily and the memories cherished by those who knew them. As weeks turned into months, Lily grew under the watchful eyes of her guardians. One quiet evening, with Lily cradled in her arms, Nurse Anna spoke of a more somber chapter in the story of Lily's parents. The nursery, usually filled with soft lullabies and gentle coos, settled into a reflective hush. After your father passed away, Lily, your mother faced a deep sorrow, Anna began, her voice tinged with a mix of sadness and admiration. Losing Michael was like losing a part of herself. Yet, in that shadow of loss, your mother found a strength that was truly remarkable. Dr. James, standing by the window overlooking the hospital gardens, added, Claire's resilience in the face of such loss was something we all admired. She carried her grief with grace, never letting it overshadow her love for you. Even when she was carrying you, Mrs. Ellen, who had quietly entered the nursery, nodded in agreement. Claire had a way of turning her pain into hope. She would often talk about the future, about how she wanted to raise you, Lily, with the same love and joy that she shared with Michael. Anna continued, gently rocking Lily. Even in her hardest days, Claire was determined to bring you into this world with love. She wanted you to know the happiness that she and Michael had found in each other. The stories of Claire's journey through grief painted a picture of a woman of incredible fortitude and love. Her ability to face the shadow of loss and yet hold on to hope was a testament to the depth of her character. "In her final days, Claire often spoke of you, Lily," said Dr. James, his voice soft. "She knew she wouldn't be there to see you grow, but she left behind her love, her strength, and her stories for us to share with you." As Lily drifted to sleep in Anna's arms, surrounded by the gentle voices of those who cared for her, she was enveloped in the legacy of her mother's strength. Claire's story was one of love, loss, and resilience. A story that would guide Lily as she grew, teaching her about the power of hope and the endurance of the human spirit. In the nurturing environment of the nursery, with Lily now soundly asleep, Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen continued to share memories of Claire, each story weaving a tapestry of her legacy. Claire knew she wouldn't be here to hold you, Lily, but she left something invaluable. Her love, Nurse Anna spoke softly, her eyes on the sleeping child. She wrote in her journal, "Words meant for you." She wanted you to know her, to feel her love through her words. Dr. James, reflecting on Claire's foresight, added, "She prepared for your future, Lily, in every way she could. Claire arranged for her savings to be used for your care and education. She was determined to provide for you, even in her absence." Mrs. Ellen, standing beside the crib, shared her perspective. Claire's love for you, Lily, was her guiding light during her toughest days. She often spoke of how she saw her and Michael's best qualities in you. She believed that you would grow up to be strong, kind, and loving, just like they were. The room filled with a sense of reverence for Claire's dedication and love. Her preparations for Lily's future, her journal, and her unwavering love were her lasting gifts to her daughter, a legacy that would shape Lily's life. Claire's journey was not easy, but her love for you, Lily, was unshakable. Nurse Anna continued. She wanted us to tell you about her and Michael, about the love that brought you here. She hoped that you would carry that love with you always. As they each took a moment to reflect, it was clear that Claire's legacy was not just in the tangible things she had left behind, but in the profound impact she had on those around her. Her strength, her resilience, and her love had touched the lives of Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen, inspiring them to come together for Lily. Lily, though too young to understand, was surrounded by the love her mother had left behind. Through the stories shared by her caretakers, she would grow up knowing the depth of her parents' love, a legacy that would guide and comfort her in the years to come. As Lily grew from a newborn into a curious toddler, the hospital staff watched over her with a collective sense of responsibility and affection. Her first steps were taken in the wide corridors of the hospital, her first words echoing in the rooms where she was lovingly cared for. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen celebrated each of these milestones, feeling a mix of pride and bittersweet joy. Under the watchful eyes of her caretakers, Lily began to learn about the world around her. Nurse Anna taught her kindness and compassion, showing her the importance of caring for others. Dr. James instilled in her a sense of curiosity and a love for learning, often sharing fascinating facts about the world. Mrs. Ellen, with her gentle wisdom, taught Lily about resilience and the beauty in everyday life. Each caretaker played a unique role in Lily's upbringing. Nurse Anna was the nurturing heart, providing comfort and emotional support. Dr. James was the guiding mind, fostering Lily's intellectual growth and curiosity. Mrs. Ellen was the soul, offering wisdom and life lessons in her own gentle way. Together, they provided a balanced and loving environment for Lily to grow. As Lily grew older, she began to ask questions about her parents and why she lived in the hospital. Her caretakers approached these questions with honesty and sensitivity, sharing stories of her parents and explaining the circumstances of her upbringing. They ensured that Lily felt loved and secure, even as they navigated the complexities of her early life story. Every small achievement of Lily's was celebrated by her hospital family. From learning to tie her shoes to reading her first book, each triumph was a testament to her growth and the collective effort of her caretakers. These celebrations were not just about the milestones, but about the journey Lily was on, a journey filled with love, learning, and the legacy of her parents. In the bustling world of St. Mary's Hospital, Lily had become a beacon of joy and innocence. Now a toddler, her world was expanding with each passing day. The staff, who had witnessed her arrival into the world, now watched with pride and affection as she reached new milestones. One sunny afternoon, in the quiet of the hospital's garden where Lily often played under the watchful eyes of her guardians, she took her first tentative steps. Nurse Anna was beside her, holding out her arms encouragingly. "Come on, Lily, you can do it," she coaxed gently. With a mixture of hesitation and determination, Lily moved forward, her small feet wobbling on the grass. Her first steps were shaky, but each one was met with cheers and claps from Nurse Anna, Dr. James, who had joined them for a break, and Mrs. Ellen, who watched fondly from a nearby bench. When Lily finally reached Nurse Anna's arms, the joy on her face was mirrored in the faces of those around her. It was more than just a physical milestone. It was a symbol of the journey they were all on together, a journey of growth, love, and shared experiences. Not long after her first steps, Lily began to form her first words. Her attempts at speech were a delightful mix of babble and clarity. Each new word she learned was a cause for celebration. Mama, her first word, was bittersweet for those who knew the story of her mother, Claire. Dr. James, who had often seen the power of communication in his medical career, found a new joy in witnessing Lily's growing ability to express herself. He would often spend time talking to her, listening to her attempts to repeat the words he said, encouraging her to explore her voice. Mrs. Ellen, with her gentle patience, would sit with Lily in the afternoons, telling her stories and delighting in the child's reactions. The simple act of conversation became a tool for bonding and learning, an integral part of Lily's development. For Nurse Anna, each word Lily spoke was a reminder of the promise she had made to Claire, to raise her daughter with love and care. Lily's growing vocabulary was a testament to the nurturing environment they had created for her. A blend of love, attention, and education. In those first steps and first words, Lily's guardians saw not just the growth of a child, but the unfolding of a life they were helping to shape. A life born out of loss, but surrounded by an abundance of love and care. In the nurturing environment of St. Mary's Hospital, Lily's early education was as unique as her upbringing. Each of her caretakers brought their own special contributions to her learning, creating a tapestry of lessons woven with love and care. Nurse Anna, with her innate maternal instincts, taught Lily the importance of kindness and empathy. She would often take Lily along on her rounds, showing her how to care for others. Lily would watch, eyes wide with curiosity, as Anna gently tended to patients, explaining in simple terms the value of each kind gesture. Dr. James introduced Lily to the wonders of the world beyond the hospital walls. He brought books filled with colorful pictures of animals, plants, and distant places, igniting Lily's imagination and curiosity. Their reading sessions were more than just educational. They were a doorway to a world of possibilities and dreams. Mrs. Ellen, who had seen much of life, shared her wisdom through stories and life lessons. She spoke of resilience in the face of adversity, the beauty of nature, and the importance of finding joy in everyday moments. Her tales, often laced with humor and insight, were eagerly absorbed by Lily, who loved to listen to the sound of Mrs. Ellen's voice. Lily's education was not confined to traditional learning. It was enriched by the experiences and values of those around her. She learned about compassion from Anna, curiosity from Dr. James, and wisdom from Mrs. Ellen. This holistic approach to learning nurtured not only her mind, but also her heart and soul. The hospital staff, who'd become an extended family, marveled at how quickly Lily was growing and learning. They saw in her the best qualities of her parents, Claire and Michael, and a reflection of their own love and dedication. Lily's laughter and bright-eyed enthusiasm were a constant reminder of the beauty of life, even amidst the challenges. In this unconventional setting, Lily was not just learning about the world. She was learning how to be a part of it. She was learning through love, a love that was given freely and unconditionally by those who had come to care for her as their own. As Lily blossomed into a bright and inquisitive child, the roles of Dr. James, Nurse Anna, and Mrs. Ellen in her life became more defined, each playing a pivotal part in her upbringing. Together, these three individuals created a balanced and nurturing environment for Lily. They were her educators, her protectors, and her guides. In them, Lily found different facets of care and love, each contributing to her growth in their own unique way. This trio of caretakers ensured that Lily's childhood was as normal and enriching as possible, despite the unconventional circumstances of her upbringing. Their dedication to her well-being was a testament to the enduring impact of Claire and Michael's legacy, a legacy of love that continued to guide and nurture Lily as she grew. As Lily grew older and more aware of her unique circumstances, her inquisitive nature led to questions, some of which were difficult to answer. One sunny afternoon, while sitting in the hospital garden with Mrs. Ellen, Lily's curiosity found words. "Why don't I have a mommy like other kids?" Lily asked innocently, her eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and confusion. Mrs. Ellen, caught slightly off guard, took a moment before responding. Her answer was gentle, yet honest. "Your mommy was a wonderful person, Lily. She loved you very much, but she couldn't stay with us. She's in heaven now, watching over you." Lily processed this, her young mind trying to understand the concept of loss. Over time, similar questions were directed at Nurse Anna and Dr. James. Each handled her queries with care, balancing the need to be truthful with the desire to protect her from the harsh realities of life. Dr. James, during their reading sessions, would often weave in stories about her parents, answering Lily's questions about who they were. He painted a picture of Claire and Michael as loving and kind, hearted, ensuring Lily knew she came from a place of love. Nurse Anna, in her nurturing way, addressed Lily's emotional queries. She reassured Lily that being different didn't mean being alone or unloved. She spoke of the hospital staff as a family that loved and cared for her deeply. As Lily grew, so did her understanding of her unique family situation. Her caretakers were open about the fact that her upbringing was not conventional, but they emphasized the abundance of love that surrounded her. They shared stories of her mother, of the love that brought her into the world, and the unfortunate circumstances of her mother's passing. These conversations were not always easy, but they were necessary. They helped Lily make sense of her past and her present, providing a foundation of understanding and acceptance. In these moments of honesty and openness, the bond between Lily and her caretakers grew stronger. Rooted in trust and mutual affection, Lily's questions about her family and her origins were a natural part of her growing up. They were met with love, patience, and honesty by those who had become her family in every sense of the word. In the life of a growing child, every small achievement is a milestone, and for Lily, each of these moments was celebrated with enthusiasm and love by her hospital family. Whether it was learning a new word, mastering a puzzle, or drawing her first picture, Lily's triumphs were met with cheers and encouragement. Nurse Anna made a ritual of marking these milestones. She had created a scrapbook for Lily, filling it with photographs and notes about each of her achievements. "Look how much you've grown, Lily," she would say, showing her the pages filled with memories. This scrapbook became a tangible symbol of Lily's growth, a testament to her journey, surrounded by the love and care of her guardians. Dr. James, ever the educator, took pride in Lily's intellectual developments. When Lily counted to 10 for the first time, or when she correctly named the colors of a rainbow, he would beam with pride. "You're getting smarter every day, Lily," he would exclaim. He saw in her a bright and curious mind, reminiscent of her parents' intelligence and curiosity. Mrs. Ellen, with her gentle manner, celebrated Lily's emotional and social milestones. She noticed Lily's acts of kindness, her growing empathy, and her ability to make friends with other children who came through the hospital. "You have a big heart. Just like your mother," Mrs. Ellen would often say, hugging Lily after she shared her toys or comforted a fellow child. These celebrations were more than just acknowledgments of Lily's growth. They were affirmations of the life Claire and Michael had hoped for their daughter. Each milestone was a connection to her parents, a realization of their dreams and aspirations for her. The hospital staff, who had become Lily's extended family, shared in the joy of these moments. They witnessed her first attempts at writing her name, her delight in learning a new song, and her excitement at discovering something new. These small triumphs were shared joys, creating a sense of communal pride and happiness. For Lily, these celebrations were filled with laughter, love, and a sense of belonging. They were reminders that she was not alone, that she was part of something bigger, a unique family brought together by circumstance, but bound together by choice and affection. As Lily grew more curious about the world, she also began to seek a deeper understanding of her past. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen tackled her questions with honesty, gradually revealing more about her parents and the unique circumstances of her upbringing. They shared stories of Claire and Michael, ensuring Lily felt connected to her roots. The staff often spoke of Claire's strength and love, particularly in the face of adversity. Lily learned about her mother's resilience after Michael's passing and during her own pregnancy. These stories painted a picture of Claire not just as a mother, but as a woman of strong character and boundless love. Lily's bond with her caretakers deepened as she grew. Each day, their interactions went beyond caregiving. They were moments of learning, sharing, and understanding. Lily came to see Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen not just as guardians, but as integral parts of her own identity. Occasionally, venturing beyond the hospital walls, Lily experienced the outside world, which was vastly different from her familiar surroundings. These experiences were eye-opening, filled with new sights, sounds, and people. Dr. James and Nurse Anna guided her through these new experiences, helping her navigate and understand the world outside the hospital. As Lily's understanding of her unique family structure grew, so did her sense of self. She began to embrace her identity, formed by the love of her parents and the care of her hospital family. Lily's story was one of bridging two worlds: the world of her biological parents and the world she was being raised in. As Lily grew into a curious and thoughtful child, her questions about her origins became more frequent and insightful. Sensing her readiness, Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen began to share more detailed stories about her parents, Claire and Michael, and the love they shared. One quiet afternoon, while sitting in her favorite spot in the hospital garden, Lily asked Nurse Anna, "What were my mom and dad like?" Anna, prepared for this moment, took a deep breath and began to paint a vivid picture of Lily's parents. "Your mom, Claire, had a laughter that filled the room. She loved to read, just like you do, and she had a kindness that touched everyone she met," Anna recounted, a smile spreading across her face. "And your dad, Michael, he was a brilliant man, full of ideas and dreams. He loved music and often played guitar in the evenings." Lily listened intently, her eyes wide with wonder as she absorbed every word. "They loved you from the moment they knew about you," Anna continued. "They would have given you the world if they could." Dr. James joined them, adding his memories of Claire's strength and grace during her pregnancy. Your mother was incredibly brave, Lily. Even when she knew she was ill, her main concern was always you. She wanted to make sure you were taken care of." Mrs. Ellen, who had been listening, chimed in softly. "I remember seeing your mother in the garden, talking to you while you were still in her belly. She would tell you about the beautiful world waiting for you." These conversations helped Lily piece together a more complete picture of her parents. Though she would never meet them, through the stories shared by her caretakers, she felt connected to them. Their love, their personalities, and their dreams for her became a part of her own story. Understanding her past helped Lily make sense of her present, She began to see how the love of her parents and the dedication of her caretakers had shaped her life. It was a unique legacy, one of loss and love, of memories and ongoing care, which had made her who she was. In the days that followed, Lily's curiosity about her mother intensified. She yearned to know more, to understand the woman who had given her life. One evening, as they sat in Lily's room, surrounded by her drawings and toys, Nurse Anna shared more about Claire's strength and love, especially during the most challenging times of her life. "Your mother faced many hardships, Lily, especially after your father passed away," Anna began, her voice soft but filled with admiration. "But even in her grief, she found a way to keep going. She poured all her love into preparing for your arrival." Lily, sitting cross-legged on her bed, listened intently. She clutched a small stuffed bear, a gift from one of the nurses, her eyes reflecting the depth of her interest. "Even when she was sick, your mother was always thinking of you," Nurse Anna continued. "She made plans, wrote in her journal, and created a beautiful nursery. She wanted to ensure that you would always feel loved, even if she couldn't be here with you." Dr. James, who had stopped by to say goodnight, added, "Claire was one of the bravest people I've ever met. Her love for you gave her incredible strength. She was determined to bring you into this world safely." Mrs. Ellen, standing by the doorway with her ever-present warm smile, spoke gently. "Your mother had a heart full of love and hope, Lily. She believed that love could overcome any obstacle. And she was right. Look at all the love surrounding you now." These stories of Claire's strength and unconditional love for Lily painted a picture of a woman who was more than just a memory. She was a guiding force, a presence that continued to shape Lily's life. As Lily lay in bed that night, she thought about her mother's love, a love so strong that it transcended even the boundaries of life and death. It was a realization that brought both comfort and a sense of connection to the mother she would never meet. Claire's strength and love were not just tales of the past. They were a living legacy that continued to inspire and nurture Lily. As Lily learned more about her parents, her bond with Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen grew stronger. They were no longer just her caretakers. They were her connection to her past and her guides in navigating the present. Nurse Anna had become like a second mother to Lily. Their relationship was filled with moments of learning, laughter, and comfort. Anna's nurturing nature provided Lily with a sense of security and affection. She was always there to answer Lily's questions, hold her when she cried, and celebrate her successes. Their bond was a beautiful blend of maternal love and deep mutual affection. Dr. James played a pivotal role in Lily's intellectual and ethical development. He was not just a mentor, but a father figure. He taught Lily about honesty, integrity, and the importance of hard work. Under his guidance, Lily developed a love for learning and a curiosity about the world. Their conversation often delved into subjects beyond Lily's years, but Dr. James always found a way to make complex ideas understandable and exciting. Mrs. Ellen offered Lily a different kind of wisdom, the wisdom that comes with experience and age. She would tell Lily stories from her own life, imparting lessons about resilience, kindness, and the joy of simple things. Mrs. Ellen's gentle presence was a constant in Lily's life, providing stability and a sense of continuity. Her stories connected Lily to a broader human experience, teaching her about the cycles of life and the importance of staying true to oneself. Together, these three individuals provided Lily with a well-rounded upbringing. They each contributed something unique to her life, filling the roles left vacant by her parents. Their love for Lily was unconditional, and in return, Lily adored them. She saw them as her family, a family that was unconventional, but no less real. The bond between Lily and her caretakers was a testament to the power of love to transcend traditional family structures. It was a bond formed out of necessity, but strengthened by genuine affection and mutual respect. In Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen, Lily found not just caretakers, but mentors, protectors, and a source of endless love and support. As Lily grew older, her world began to extend beyond the familiar corridors of St. Mary's Hospital. With the encouragement and guidance of her caretakers, she started to explore the world outside, a world full of new experiences and challenges. Nurse Anna was the first to take Lily on small excursions outside the hospital. They visited the nearby park where Lily saw other children playing, birds flying, and trees swaying in the wind. These outings were a delight for Lily, who was eager to explore and learn. Anna used these moments to teach Lily about nature, friendship, and the diversity of life outside the hospital walls. Dr. James often accompanied them, adding his knowledge to their adventures. He would explain the science behind the changing seasons, the life cycle of plants, and the stars in the night sky. For Lily, these were not just fun outings, but educational experiences that sparked her curiosity about the world. Mrs. Ellen, though less involved in these outside excursions, prepared Lily for them with her stories and wisdom. She talked to Lily about the importance of kindness and understanding towards others, regardless of their background or situation. Mrs. Ellen's life lessons helped Lily navigate her interactions with the outside world with empathy and grace. The more Lily ventured out, the more she became aware of the vastness and complexity of the world. She encountered new sights, sounds, and people, each bringing new lessons and experiences. These encounters were eye-opening for Lily, who had spent much of her early life within the confines of the hospital. While these experiences were exciting, they also brought new challenges. Lily sometimes struggled to understand why her life was so different from other children's. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen were always there to guide her through these moments, helping her understand and appreciate the uniqueness of her situation. Through her encounters with the outside world, Lily began to bridge the gap between her life in the hospital and the world beyond its walls. These experiences enriched her understanding, broadened her perspective, and prepared her for the diverse experiences life would offer. As Lily's experiences broadened, so did her understanding of herself and her place in the world. The stories of her parents, her interactions with her caretakers, and her encounters with the outside world all contributed to shaping her identity. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen had always been open about Lily's unique upbringing. As she grew, they gradually shared more about her parents and the circumstances that led to her living in the hospital. This openness helped Lily piece together the puzzle of her past, giving her a sense of connection to her parents and a deeper understanding of her own story. Lily began to embrace her uniqueness. She understood that while her life was different, it was rich with love and care. She saw herself as a bridge between the world of the hospital, with its routines and caretakers, and the outside world, with its endless possibilities and diverse people. The support and guidance of her caretakers were crucial in this journey. They provided her with a safe space to express her feelings, ask questions, and explore her identity. They celebrated her uniqueness and encouraged her to be proud of who she was. As Lily interacted more with children her age during her outings, she learned to navigate social dynamics. She shared stories of her life in the hospital, finding that many were fascinated by her unique family. This helped Lily feel more confident in her identity and more connected to the world outside the hospital. Lily's identity was a mosaic of her experiences, the legacy of her parents' love, the nurturing of her caretakers, and her interactions with the broader world. She learned to draw strength from her past, to find joy in her present, and to look forward to her future with optimism. Embracing her identity was not without its challenges, but Lily faced them with the resilience and strength she had inherited from her mother and learned from her caretakers. Her life was a testament to the fact that family is not just about blood relations. It's about the bonds of love, care, and shared experiences. The start of school marked a significant transition for Lily. Leaving the familiar environment of the hospital, she stepped into a world teeming with new faces, ideas, and routines. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen prepared her for this new chapter. equipping her with confidence and a sense of curiosity. Lily quickly learned that navigating social dynamics in school was different from her interactions in the hospital. She made friends but also faced challenges in fitting in. Her unique background sometimes made her the subject of curiosity and, at times, misunderstanding among her peers. School was not just about academic learning for Lily. It was also about life lessons. She learned about teamwork, empathy, and resilience. Her caretakers continued to support her, helping her process her experiences and learn from them. Despite spending her days in school, Lily's bond with her hospital family remained strong. They were her support system, providing guidance and a listening ear. They celebrated her academic achievements and were there for her through her social struggles. Amidst the challenges, Lily discovered her passions and talents. Encouraged by her caretakers, she pursued activities that brought her joy and a sense of accomplishment. These pursuits were not just hobbies for Lily. They were integral to her developing a sense of identity and purpose. The morning air was crisp and filled with anticipation as Lily, hand in hand with Nurse Anna, approached the gates of her new school. The chatter and laughter of children filled the air, a stark contrast to the quiet corridors of the hospital she was so accustomed to. It was a big day for Lily. Her first day of school, a step into a bigger world. Dressed in her new uniform, Lily's eyes were wide with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Nurse Anna knelt beside her, offering words of encouragement. "You're going to do great, Lily. Remember, it's a big world out there, full of wonderful things to learn and people to meet." Dr. James had talked to Lily about school, explaining what she could expect and the importance of education. He had filled her backpack with notebooks, pencils, and an enthusiasm for learning. "School is an adventure, Lily. Embrace it," he had said with a smile. Mrs. Ellen, who had seen Lily off from the hospital, had imparted her own wisdom. "Be kind, be curious, and don't be afraid to be yourself," she had advised, her voice warm and reassuring. As Lily entered the schoolyard, a flood of new sensations engulfed her. The sounds of playing children, the sight of the colorful playground, and the feeling of being part of a larger community were both overwhelming and exhilarating. The first day of school was a whirlwind of activities. Meeting her teacher, making new friends, and learning new routines. Lily found herself fascinated by the stories and experiences of her classmates, so different from her own. At the end of the day, as Nurse Anna waited at the school gates, Lily ran into her arms, bursting with stories of her first day. Her face was alight with the joy of new experiences, the challenges of fitting in, and the excitement of what lay ahead. For Lily, stepping into the world of school was more than just an educational journey. It was a rite of passage, a bridge between the sheltered life she had known in the hospital and the vast, diverse world outside. It was the beginning of her journey towards finding her place in that world. As the days turned into weeks, Lily began to settle into her new routine at school. She discovered the joys of friendship, but also encountered the complexities of social dynamics that were unfamiliar to her. Lily's unique background, so different from her peers, made her the subject of curiosity among the children. Some were fascinated by her story, drawn to her because of it, while others found it difficult to understand. Lily found herself navigating a world where fitting in wasn't as easy as she had hoped. Despite these challenges, Lily made a few close friends who accepted her for who she was. They shared in her excitement for learning and her wonder at the world outside the hospital. These friendships became a source of joy and support for Lily, helping her feel a sense of belonging. However, there were times when Lily felt like an outsider. She struggled with questions about her family and why she didn't have a home outside the hospital like the other kids. Nurse Anna, aware of these struggles, provided guidance and reassurance. "It's okay to be different, Lily," Anna would say. "It's your uniqueness that makes you special." Mrs. Ellen and Dr. James also provided support, reminding her of the love and care that surrounded her, both at school and at the hospital. They encouraged her to be proud of her story and the family she had in them. Lily learned valuable lessons about friendship and resilience during these early school days. She understood that not everyone would accept her background, but she also learned the importance of being true to herself. The hardships she faced in forming friendships taught her empathy and the value of genuine connections. Through the ups and downs of her school experiences, Lily grew in her ability to navigate relationships. The friendships she formed and the hardships she faced were integral parts of her journey, teaching her about the diverse tapestry of human relationships and the strength that comes from embracing one's own story. As Lily continued her journey through school, she realized that some of the most important lessons she was learning were not found in textbooks or taught in classrooms. These lessons were about life, relationships, and her own inner strength. The playground and the lunchroom became arenas where Lily learned about cooperation, conflict resolution, and the importance of empathy. She found herself in situations where she had to stand up for herself and others, learning the value of assertiveness and kindness. These experiences were challenging, but they helped Lily develop a sense of self-confidence and an understanding of the complexities of human interactions. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen were keen observers of these developments. They provided Lily with a safe space to discuss her experiences and feelings. Nurse Anna's gentle guidance helped Lily navigate the emotional aspects of her relationships. "It's okay to feel upset, Lily, but remember to always treat others with kindness, even when it's hard," Anna would advise. Dr. James often engaged Lily in discussions about ethical dilemmas she faced, encouraging her to think critically and develop her own sense of right and wrong. "What do you think is the fair thing to do in this situation?" he would ask, prompting her to reflect on her actions and their impact on others. Mrs. Ellen's wisdom was invaluable in helping Lily understand that life's challenges were opportunities for growth. "Every experience, good or bad, teaches us something important, Lily," she would say, sharing her own stories that mirrored the lessons Lily was learning. Through these experiences, Lily began to understand the importance of resilience. She learned that while she couldn't control everything that happened to her, she could control how she reacted to it. These lessons in resilience, empathy, and ethical thinking were as crucial to her development as any academic knowledge she acquired. School life provided Lily with a broader understanding of the world and her place in it. The lessons she learned beyond the classrooms helped shape her into a well-rounded individual, capable of facing the complexities of life with a balanced and thoughtful approach. Despite the significant portion of her day now spent at school, Lily's connection to her hospital family, Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen, remained a constant and vital source of support and comfort. This unique family unit played a crucial role in helping her navigate the challenges and triumphs of her school life. Every day after school, Lily would return to the hospital, where familiar faces eagerly awaited to hear about her day. Nurse Anna would often sit with Lily in the hospital garden, listening intently as Lily recounted her day, the new things she learned, the interactions with friends, and sometimes the difficulties she faced. Anna's empathetic ear and wise counsel helped Lily process her experiences and emotions. Dr. James took a keen interest in Lily's academic progress. He was there to help with homework, encourage her intellectual curiosities, and celebrate her academic achievements. His guidance was not just about imparting knowledge. It was about fostering a love for learning. Dr. James was proud to see Lily growing into a bright and inquisitive student, reflecting the intelligence and curiosity of her parents. Mrs. Ellen's role in Lily's life was more than just a caretaker. She was a beacon of stability and wisdom. Her stories, often told while they shared a meal or took a walk, were full of life lessons and laughter. Mrs. Ellen had a way of putting things into perspective, reminding Lily of the bigger picture and the importance of gratitude. This hospital family provided more than just physical care. They offered emotional and psychological support. They celebrated Lily's successes, whether it was a good grade, a new friendship, or a personal breakthrough. They were also there to comfort her during moments of disappointment or confusion. The support of her hospital family gave Lily a unique strength. It was a reminder that she was not alone in her journey, that she had a family who loved her unconditionally. This support system was instrumental in helping Lily develop confidence, resilience, and a sense of security. Lily's story was one of triumph over the unusual circumstances of her upbringing, and her hospital family played a pivotal role in that story. They were the anchors in her life, providing the love, guidance, and stability she needed to navigate the world outside the hospital. Lily's school days were not only a time for academic learning, but also a period of self-discovery. She began to show a keen interest in various activities, revealing talents and passions that were nurtured and encouraged by her hospital family. Nurse Anna noticed Lily's artistic abilities early on. Lily loved to draw and paint, often creating colorful images of the world around her. Anna arranged for Lily to have art supplies, and together they would spend hours in the hospital's garden, where Lily would draw the flowers and trees. Anna's encouragement was a significant factor in fostering Lily's creativity. Dr. James observed Lily's interest in science. Her curiosity about how things worked led to many impromptu science lessons. Dr. James arranged for educational toys and books that challenged and engaged Lily. He was instrumental in nurturing her intellectual curiosity, often discussing ideas and theories that sparked Lily's imagination. Mrs. Ellen, with her wealth of life experience, encouraged Lily to explore different interests. She taught Lily about the importance of trying new things and finding joy in diverse experiences. Mrs. Ellen often spoke of life as a grand adventure, full of opportunities to learn and grow. As Lily's talents and interests developed, so did her sense of identity and confidence. She began to dream of what she might become in the future. Perhaps an artist, a scientist, or something entirely her own. The support and encouragement of her hospital family played a crucial role in this process, giving her the freedom to explore and the confidence to dream. The school's extracurricular activities provided additional avenues for Lily to pursue her interests. Her caretakers were there to cheer her on at school events, whether she was participating in a science fair, an art show, or a school play. Through these experiences, Lily learned the value of hard work, persistence, and the joy of pursuing one's passions. Her dreams and talents were a mix of her own natural inclinations and the nurturing environment provided by her caretakers. In nurturing her dreams and talents, they were preparing her for a future where she could not only succeed, but also find happiness and fulfillment. Entering adolescence, Lily began to experience the typical struggles of a teenager, along with the unique challenges posed by her unusual upbringing. She sometimes rebelled against the constraints of her life within the hospital walls, yearning for more independence and questioning the world around her. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen navigated these turbulent waters with a balance of understanding and guidance. Lily's growing desire for autonomy led to conflicts, both at school and in the hospital. She grappled with understanding her identity and where she fit in the world. Her caretakers provided her with the space to express her frustrations and fears while also setting boundaries. They helped her work through conflicts, teaching her valuable lessons about compromise, respect, and empathy. As Lily matured, her questions about her place in the world became more profound. She pondered her future, what she wanted to do, and how her unique upbringing would shape her path. Her caretakers supported her in this exploration, encouraging her to pursue her interests and dreams, and assuring her that her past did not define her future. Like many teenagers, Lily experienced the complexities of first love. Her first crush brought a mix of excitement, confusion, and heartache. Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen were there to offer advice, a listening ear, and comfort. They guided her through the emotional ups and downs, helping her understand and navigate her feelings. Throughout her adolescence, Lily continued to feel a deep connection to her parents, Claire and Michael. The stories shared by her caretakers kept this bond alive. She began to see how their legacy influenced her values, her dreams, and her view of the world. This unseen bond provided her with a sense of continuity and belonging. Adolescence brought a new set of challenges for Lily. The once quiet and compliant child began to show signs of rebellion, a natural part of her journey towards independence. The hospital, which had always been her safe haven, started to feel like a cage, limiting her freedom and experiences. Lily's moments of rebellion were met with a mixture of concern and understanding from Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen. They recognized that her desire for more freedom and autonomy was a normal part of growing up, but it also posed unique challenges. Given her unusual living situation, Nurse Anna often found herself mediating between Lily's frustrations and the hospital's rules. "I understand you want to go out more, explore and be with friends, Lily, but we also have to think about your safety," Anna would explain, trying to balance Lily's needs with the practicalities of her situation. Dr. James, always the voice of reason, approached Lily's rebellious phase with calmness and wisdom. He engaged her in discussions about responsibility, choices, and consequences. "Your actions have an impact, Lily. It's important to think things through," he would advise, guiding her towards making thoughtful decisions. Mrs. Ellen, with her gentle but firm manner, reminded Lily of the importance of gratitude and respect. "We all have rules to follow, dear. It's part of life, but I understand it's hard for you," she would say, acknowledging Lily's struggles while reinforcing the importance of boundaries. These instances of rebellion were not just about breaking rules. They were opportunities for learning and growth. Lily was testing her limits, learning about herself, and figuring out her place in the world. Her caretakers understood this and strived to provide her with the guidance and support she needed. Through each act of rebellion, Lily learned valuable lessons about understanding and compromise. She began to appreciate the reasons behind the boundaries set by her caretakers and the hospital. This period of rebellion and understanding was an essential step in Lily's journey towards becoming a young adult, helping her develop a sense of self and a deeper appreciation for the people who cared for her. Lily's adolescent years were marked by a natural push for independence, leading to inevitable conflicts, both at school and in the hospital. Her unique upbringing, while full of love, occasionally made her feel different and misunderstood by her peers. At school, Lily sometimes found herself at odds with other students. Her experiences and perspectives, shaped largely by her life within the hospital walls, were often different from those of her classmates. These differences sometimes led to misunderstandings and conflicts. Back at the hospital, Lily's growing need for independence clashed with the routines and rules she had always known. She yearned for more freedom, to explore beyond the hospital, to experience life like other teenagers. This desire sometimes put her at odds with Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen, who were responsible for her safety and well-being. Nurse Anna, with her nurturing approach, would sit down with Lily to talk through these conflicts. She listened to Lily's concerns, validated her feelings, and worked together with her to find solutions. "Let's figure this out together," Anna would say, fostering a collaborative approach to resolving disagreements. Dr. James, emphasizing the importance of understanding and empathy, guided Lily in seeing situations from multiple perspectives. He encouraged her to communicate openly and resolve conflicts in a way that respected everyone involved. "Understanding others is key, Lily. We all have our stories, our struggles," he would remind her. Mrs. Ellen, ever the source of wisdom, shared her insights on dealing with difficult situations. She told stories from her own life, illustrating how patience and perspective could turn conflicts into learning experiences. "Every challenge is a chance to learn something new about ourselves and others," Mrs. Ellen would say, offering a broader perspective on life's trials. Through these experiences, Lily learned valuable lessons in conflict resolution, empathy, and communication. She began to understand that conflicts were a part of life, but they didn't have to define her relationships. With the support and guidance of her hospital family, Lily developed the skills to navigate and resolve conflicts, growing stronger and more resilient in the process. As Lily navigated the turbulent waters of adolescence, she began to ponder deeply about her future. The questions of identity and purpose that bubble in the minds of all teenagers were particularly poignant for her, given her unique upbringing in the hospital. This period became a time for Lily to seek her place in the world. In quiet moments, often in the hospital's garden under the shade of an old oak tree, Lily would talk to Nurse Anna about her dreams and fears. "What if I can't find where I belong outside this hospital?" Lily would ask, voicing the uncertainty that weighed on her heart. Nurse Anna, with her characteristic empathy, would listen attentively before offering reassurance. "Lily, your journey might be different, but that doesn't make it any less beautiful or promising. You have so much to offer the world," she would say, encouraging Lily to see her potential. Dr. James played a critical role in these conversations as well. He encouraged Lily to explore her interests and talents, reminding her that her unique experiences had equipped her with a remarkable perspective on life. "You have a depth of understanding and empathy that is rare, Lily. Trust in your abilities," he would advise. Mrs. Ellen, too, offered her wisdom. "Life is a tapestry of different experiences, my dear. Each thread you add, be it from your time here in the hospital or your adventures outside, makes it more beautiful," she would say, helping Lily see her life as a unique and evolving story. Lily's explorations weren't confined to discussions. With the support of her hospital family, she began to engage in various activities, volunteer work, art classes, and science clubs that allowed her to discover her interests and talents. These experiences gave her glimpses of the potential paths her life could take. Amidst this journey of self-discovery, Lily also grappled with the legacy of her parents. She wondered how their lives and their dreams for her might influence her choices. The stories shared by her caretakers about Claire and Michael provided guidance and inspiration as she contemplated her future. In seeking her place in the world, Lily was not just contemplating a career or a life path. She was exploring her identity, shaped by the love of her parents, the care of her hospital family, and her experiences and interactions outside the hospital. It was a journey of self-discovery, full of possibilities, challenges, and hopes. The roller coaster of adolescence brought with it a new and exhilarating experience for Lily, the discovery of first love. It happened unexpectedly, like a sudden burst of color in her monochrome world. A boy in her class, with a shy smile and an infectious laugh, caught Lily's attention, and, before long, her heart. Nurse Anna noticed the change in Lily first. The daydreaming, the extra care taken with her appearance, and the frequent mentions of the boy's name. With a knowing smile, Anna broached the subject one evening. "So, tell me about this boy who's been on your mind," she said gently, opening the door for Lily to share her feelings. Lily blushed, but opened up about her crush. Anna listened, offering advice and sharing her own stories of young love. "First love is special, Lily. It's okay to feel all these emotions. Just remember to stay true to yourself," Anna counseled, balancing her guidance with an understanding of the joys and pitfalls of young romance. Dr. James, too, provided his support, albeit in a more practical manner. He talked to Lily about respect, boundaries, and the importance of mutual understanding in any relationship. Relationships are about caring for each other, respecting each other's feelings, and growing together, he advised, wanting to ensure Lily approached her first romantic experience with maturity. Mrs. Ellen offered wisdom laced with humor. "Ah, the sweet pangs of first love," she chuckled. "Enjoy it, dear, but don't let it sweep you away. Keep your feet on the ground." Lily's experience with first love was a mix of excitement, confusion, and a little heartache. The boy, while fond of Lily, didn't share the depth of her feelings. Dealing with the disappointment was tough, but Lily's hospital family was there to support her through it. Through this experience, Lily learned about the complexities of relationships, the importance of communication, and the resilience of the human heart. Her first brush with love was a significant step in her journey towards understanding herself and others. It was a reminder that while not every affection is reciprocated, the capacity to love and feel is a beautiful part of being human. As Lily navigated her teenage years, she encountered a profound realization: the unbreakable bond she shared with the hospital staff who'd become her second family. It was a bond that transcended the boundaries of blood relations and was forged through countless moments of care, love, and shared experiences. One chilly winter evening, Lily found herself in the hospital courtyard, gazing up at the star-studded sky. It was a ritual she had adopted, a way to connect with her mother who had passed away, a way to feel close to the woman she had never truly known. Nurse Anna joined her, sensing Lily's need for companionship. They sat in comfortable silence, wrapped in the warmth of their shared presence. Anna began to speak softly, sharing stories of her own life, her dreams, and her past. She spoke of her parents, her childhood, and the challenges she had faced. Lily listened, feeling the threads of connection weaving between them. Dr. James, too, became a pillar of support in Lily's life. He encouraged her to pursue her dreams and instilled in her the belief that she could achieve anything she set her mind to. He often shared stories of his own journey through medical school, highlighting the importance of perseverance and passion. Mrs. Ellen, with her wisdom and humor, continued to be a source of strength for Lily. She taught her life lessons through anecdotes and witty sayings, all while baking delicious treats that brought comfort to the hospital staff and patients alike. Over time, Lily came to understand that family wasn't just about blood ties. It was about the people who stood by your side, who cared for you, and who believed in your potential. The hospital staff had become her family in every sense of the word. They were her mentors, her confidants, and her greatest cheerleaders. As she entered adulthood, Lily carried with her the invaluable lessons and unwavering support of her hospital family. She pursued her dreams with determination, knowing that she had a second family who believed in her. The bond between Lily and the hospital staff remained unbroken, a testament to the enduring power of love and connection. They had weathered life's storms together and emerged stronger, a family forged not by blood, but by the shared experiences that had shaped their lives. In the hospital, the winds of change had started to blow. After years of dedicated service, Nurse Anna decided to retire and spend her days traveling the world. Her departure left a void in Lily's heart, but she knew that Anna deserved the adventure she had always dreamed of. Lily had grown into a confident and compassionate young woman. She decided to follow in Anna's footsteps and pursue a career in nursing, inspired by the kindness and care she had witnessed throughout her life. Dr. James, who had become a father figure to her, supported her decision wholeheartedly and offered to mentor her through her nursing journey. As Lily embarked on her nursing studies, she felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment. She was determined to carry forward the legacy of love and dedication that the hospital staff had instilled in her. Meanwhile, Mrs. Ellen continued to share her wisdom and baking skills with Lily. Together, they started a small baking business using the recipes that had comforted countless patients over the years. The business thrived, and Lily found joy in creating delicious treats while honoring Mrs. Ellen's legacy. The hospital itself underwent changes, with new staff members joining the team. Lily welcomed them with open arms, sharing her stories of the hospital's rich history and the incredible people who had shaped her life. One day, as Lily stood in the hospital courtyard, she couldn't help but smile. The hospital had been her home, her sanctuary, and the place where she had discovered the true meaning of family. She knew that her journey had come full circle, and she was ready to embrace the new beginnings that awaited her. As she looked up at the same star-studded sky that had comforted her throughout her life, Lily whispered a heartfelt thank you to her mother, to Nurse Anna, to Dr. James, to Mrs. Ellen, and to all the hospital staff who'd been her guiding stars. In the hospital, the winds of change had started to blow. After years of dedicated service, Nurse Anna decided to retire and spend her days traveling the world. Her departure left a void in Lily's heart, but she knew that Anna deserved the adventure she had always dreamed of. Lily had grown into a confident and compassionate young woman. She decided to follow in Anna's footsteps and pursue a career in nursing, inspired by the kindness and care she had witnessed throughout her life. Dr. James, who had become a father figure to her, supported her decision wholeheartedly and offered to mentor her through her nursing journey. As Lily embarked on her nursing studies, she felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment. She was determined to carry forward the legacy of love and dedication that the hospital staff had instilled in her. Meanwhile, Mrs. Ellen continued to share her wisdom and baking skills with Lily. Together, they started a small baking business, using the recipes that had comforted countless patients over the years. The business thrived, and Lily found joy in creating delicious treats while honoring Mrs. Ellen's legacy. The hospital itself underwent changes, with new staff members joining the team. Lily welcomed them with open arms, sharing her stories of the hospital's rich history and the incredible people who had shaped her life. One day, as Lily stood in the hospital courtyard, she couldn't help but smile. The hospital had been her home, her sanctuary, and the place where she had discovered the true meaning of family. She knew that her journey had come full circle, and she was ready to embrace the new beginnings that awaited her. As she looked up at the same star-studded sky that had comforted her throughout her life, Lily whispered a heartfelt thank you to her mother, to Nurse Anna, to Dr. James, to Mrs. Ellen, and to all the hospital staff who'd been her guiding stars. With tears of gratitude in her eyes, Lily knew that she carried the love and kindness of her hospital family with her, and that wherever life took her, she would continue to be a beacon of hope and compassion. And so, in the warm embrace of her memories and the love that surrounded her, Lily's journey continued, leaving a legacy of kindness and the profound belief that in the darkest of times, a single act of compassion could change the course of a life. In the years that followed, the story of Lily and the hospital became a legend in the small town. Lily continued her nursing career, touching the lives of countless patients with her kindness and empathy. She carried the lessons she had learned from Nurse Anna, Dr. James, and Mrs. Ellen in her heart, becoming a symbol of hope for those in need. The hospital itself thrived, not only as a place of healing, but also as a center of compassion and community. The staff, inspired by Lily's unwavering dedication, continued to provide the highest quality care to patients from all walks of life. As for Lily's own family, they remained by her side, watching with pride as their daughter grew into a remarkable woman. Ashley, who had once been the recipient of Fanny's generosity, followed in her mother's footsteps, dedicating her life to helping others. And so, the legacy of love and kindness that had started with a tragic twist of fate continued to flourish. The small girl who had lost her mother but gained a family of caregivers had become a beacon of light, illuminating the lives of everyone she touched. As the years went by, Lily often looked up at the starry night sky, just as she had done in the hospital courtyard. She believed that her mother was among those stars, watching over her with pride and love. And she knew, deep in her heart, that the lessons of compassion and the power of a single act of kindness would endure for generations to come. And so the story of Lily, the hospital, and the legacy of love they had created lived on, reminding us all that in a world where tragedy and pain were inevitable, the choice to be kind and to care for one another was the greatest gift of all. We have come to the end of this emotional journey. I hope you found the story touching and meaningful.